to present at Agri Information Session as a guest lecturer. This is uh, this is I really appreciate this support from all of you, like providing opportunity for a startup to present about what they have been doing. So this is really amazing. Thank you so much for that. So without any further ado, I like to start my presentation. So before moving on to my presentation, I'd like to give a brief introduction about me. So I'm Suman Ghimire. I'm CEO and co-founder at Seed Innovations. And talking about my educational background, I did my engineering in geomatics engineering in 2015. After that, I did my postgraduate in advanced remote sensing in Greece. And then I did my MSc in precision agriculture from a collaborative course between Thailand and Japan. So talking about our startup is on a mission to empower farmers in Nepal and then the South Asia to adapt to the effects of climate change and its vulnerabilities using data-driven interventions, such as using satellites, big data analytics, weather analytics to provide crucial information to the farmers on right time. So as you can see here, this is a picture of a big farm, very big farm, and consider a farmer who has to walk around the farm to see any either problematic areas. It's very difficult. There is high chance that farmers will definitely miss some of the problematic areas. But using satellite and big data analytics, machine learning, we can guide farmers to early identify problematic areas. For example, in this case, you can see the red areas and the green areas. In this image, the green area represents good crop performance, whereas the red areas represents poor crop performance. And our flagship product PlanSat helps farmer providing this kind of information like satellite and big data for early identifying problem areas in their field. So basically, our mission is to develop an enabling condition for all our stakeholders, including farmers, insurance companies, extension officers, and banks, because all of these players, they share a common objective, that is increasing yield, increasing income, investments, literacy, and food security of the region. And talking about our first app that we launched in 2019, we provide satellite-based precision agriculture platform. So the basic thing that we provide, the features are like crop health monitoring, nitrogen use efficiency, water use efficiency, and there's also an option to talk to experts. And also we provide weather updates for +7 days, and also we offer field notes and scouting features. So for the first feature, crop monitoring, you can see here, like this feature helps early identification of disease, pests, and weed. This also helps improve yield and reduces pre-harvest loss. So if, for example, if a farmer can early identify problematic areas, then he can take necessary interventions early, so he can strategize how to deal with those problems. So our first feature helps farmers in that direction. And our second feature, nitrogen fertilizer efficiency, this optimizes fertilizer use while top dressing. So what happens is, if you can see here in the picture, there are two colors you can see, like their low fertilizer spray is like in green color, and the high fertilizer spray is in yellowish color. So a farmer, they can just move along the farm, and using GPS, they can know the current status of the farm, whether the farm needs high nitrogen fertilizer or it needs less fertilizer. So with using feature 2, farmers can enable their decision making, enhance their decision making in this direction. So talking about third feature, we provided a water use efficiency feature as well. So for instance, this helps in early identification of water related plant stress, and this optimizes water use during irrigation as well. So in the picture, if you can see down in the legend, you can see red colors are the low water content, whereas blue colors are high water content. So using this feature as well, farmers can optimize their for fertilizer use, and especially this works in areas where there is very limited water for irrigation, so they can optimize it. And after identifying problematic areas and going to the field, they can simply send us a picture, and using our network of experts, extension officers, we help them solve their problems. So here you can see, for example, a user wrote, I have a problem in my field, please help. Then we can immediately provide those extension services, digital services as well. So in PlanSat, we have enhanced version 2. We had enhanced UI UX. We also provided offline support, water use efficiency as well, response time, and uh, Compass enabled GPS guidance to reach to exactly the problematic areas. So from 2019 to 2021, we actively, extensively worked on PlanSat satellite precision platform and targeted farmers. But turned out like our business model didn't work well, because farmers were not buying it. They had to change their behavior. It required a lot of behavior change as well. So instead of providing satellite-based support to farmers, what we did instead was we provided this kind of satellite support and analytics to insurance companies. And we recently completed our first digital pilot in rice seed producer insurance in Nepal. And I'd like to walk you through how we did that and what was our findings, success stories with the first pilot. So I'd like to walk you through that. So, if I were to talk about the current status of farmers in Nepal related to insurance, the current status goes like this: like the premiums in Nepal is heavily subsidized. Like, for instance, like 80% of the premium cost is supported by the government of Nepal. So the farmer just need to pay 20% of the premium cost. But although it's heavily subsidized, farmers they lack awareness as well, and there's lengthy verification and registration procedure. And also the farms are too remote, because around 80% of the farms in Nepal are in rural areas, not accessible areas. So they have to go to up to 15 days of lengthy procedure, and up to 9 months. It even took 9 months for claim settlement. So this has caused hesitation among farmers, and there's no data-driven practices in Nepal yet. So we uh, this is the status of farmers. And considering the status of insurance companies, they are reluctant to provide services to farmers because of like high operational cost, and they require to move to the field registration as well. There's no good infrastructure for insurance companies. They are not present in every villages. So because of the high operational cost and registration cost, and also lack of proper technology, because of which they can't monitor moral hazards. So if I were to put into perspective, insurance company, they just spend 25 to 30% of the premium cost on like registration, as in takes 10%, loss assessor takes 5%, verification cost requires 10 to 12%, and moral hazards another 5 to 10%. So because of this, a lot of money is already gone. So they don't see profit insurance for insurance companies. And what we are doing here is we are connecting, we are providing a digital platform using the combination of satellite, weather, and photos. So we combine the satellite-based monitoring, picture-based monitoring, and weather-based monitoring to enhance the decision making of not only farmers but also insurance companies. And if a farmer, like for instance Ram, were to join in our platform, so he has to practice, he has to send us picture. So first is picture based evidence. So what Ram does is he is able to even fill the KYC form, upload necessary documents, and then he digitizes the farm by walking the field. So we need digital boundaries of the farm as well for satellite monitoring. So how we enable that is farmers, they just simply take picture. And in picture, we collect GPS information. So we collect GPS information of every corners, and that's how we digitize the farm. And upon digitizing, he also sends us 3 minutes of video, which is a requirement for insurance in Nepal. And throughout the insurance period, he takes picture 2 to 3 times a week. And because of that, that builds confidence of insurance companies in identifying whether he's a real farmer or not, because that's an issue with insurance companies as well. There's no confidence in the market. In order to build that, we applied picture-based evidence, collecting GPS and compass information. And in case of disaster as well, farmer like Ram needs to send a picture and videos of the disaster. That's clearly visible, the areas in the farm. And then what happens is upon receiving this claim from farmers, our web platform performs two-layer of verification. So what we do is we combine photo, satellite, weather data, as I mentioned earlier, for preliminary validation of received claims. So we, after receiving, we do preliminary validation using our platform, web platform, that's completely automated. So after that, it generates auto-generated report with the confidence score as well, which I'll show it to you as well. So after we create a PDF, automatic generated PDF, we provide that information to insurance companies, which he or she can access using our web platform for final validation. So in terms of our role, we don't exactly validate, but we assist the decision making of insurance officers who are responsible for validating. So after a disaster, you can see, like, with using our web platform, we compile all those information and create such kind of auto generated reports. So here you can see the claim date was October 7th. These are the like satellite imageries that with the dates, and it also mentions like whether the satellite validates the claim or not, whether if there is a rainfall, then it should be visible in satellite imagery as well, because the plants get destroyed and it should be visible, like here as well. The claim date was October 7, but before September, on September 20, it was working well. After October 10, we received another satellite, and you can see it's turning red. So that means there's some destruction caused through rainfall. And we also monitor picture-based monitoring. So we can see the pictures, and also we provide information like a tick mark. You can see like whether it valid, matches the farm or not, whether the compass matches the digital farm or not, and whether the picture matches the disaster claim or not. And finally, down there, you can see weather monitoring option. So what we do is we collect data from automatic weather stations from Department of Hydrology and Meteorology in Nepal. So they provide us data like this, and whenever we get claim date, we access the rainfall, or even the drought information or the temperature, soil temperature, those kind of data. And here the claim was from heavy rainfall. So you can see here there was between the date of October 5 to 8, 165.9 mm per day on October 7. So that means it's a very heavy rainfall. So based on all these insights, we enhance the decision making and also build the confidence of insurance companies, so as to 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 improve the market status and to bring all these players to the same ground and to increase the number of insurance policies issued. So, and another thing, in the web dashboard, insurance officers can easily monitor the farms like this. So here you can see a pink color dot here. This represents the photo, corresponding photos here. So based on this, he can exactly know where is the picture taken, on which date it was taken, and on which direction it was taken through compass orientation. So we enable that thing as well through our web platform. And so as I told you about the digital farm, so farmer clicks picture from every corner of his farm. So in doing so, farmer generates polygons like this. If you see the white colored polygon or fields in this image, all this represents the farm of insured farmer. So using this data, now what we can do is we can send this data to European Space Agency satellites or NASA satellite, and then just get the satellite data. So when farmer takes picture, this enables us to monitor through satellites as well. And in case of heavy rainfall, we overlap the region. So if there is flood inundation, then we can definitely know it from Sentinel-1 satellite mission. So what we do is we overlap the flood inundation map with the polygons of the farmers. In doing so, we know whether the flood was inundated through heavy rainfall or so this basically boosts the confidence of insurance companies as well. So here, as I said, our digital platform PlanSat is on a mission to build enabling conditions for all our stakeholders, and our stakeholders includes farmers, extension officers, insurance companies, and banks. Banks, we're just on our first step to enable them for loan support. So data-driven loan support. So I'll discuss in detail here. So farmers, they are provided with satellite weather-based agriculture decision support. Farmers also can send pictures for digital crop and livestock advisory. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when farmers get enrolled in our insurance, he just claims. Claiming is the last resort. So before claiming as well, we help them solve any problem areas instantly through our digital advisory, as we have network of extension officers as well. So we communicate, or we bridge the gap between farmers and extension officers. And we also provide them access to crop and livestock specific best management practices. So for instance, if farmer has planted maize, so we send them notifications. So in 25 days, okay, it's time for your first top dressing. And in 55 days, we send them information, it's time for your second top dressing. So we provide them support of not only from land preparation to post-harvest, what are the best management he should follow. And also we provide digital crop and livestock enrollment and claim reporting option through our app as well. And in near future, we'll also have an option where farmers can request access to bank loans. And we also have leaderboard and digital community center for farmers. For extension officers, what we do is we provide them satellite weather-based agriculture decision support in identifying problematic areas. And also, like, since extension officers in Nepal, and I think the situation is similar in South Asia, they are outnumbered. So they can't go to every field and provide their advisory support. So what we help them is we enable them to strategize actions and prioritize field visits based on severity. So they can check satellite data, weather data, and also remotely monitor those areas and identify areas that are more severe, and then they can strategize accordingly and send alerts as well. Whenever there is problematic areas or weather-based alerts, he or she will be able to send mass SMS, also in-app notifications as well. And also they are able to receive pictures from farmers for digital crop advisory. And we have a team of extension officers who can manage their activities. So they can assign activity to another extension officers, or also monitor tasks and generate any activities based on the identification of any severe areas. And thirdly, our another stakeholder, insurance companies, we provide them satellite, weather, and GPS based intelligence for because, as I said earlier, they require a lot of field visits, they have high operational costs. So we want to minimize those operational costs. So we help them optimize the number of field visits required. So even when a farmer digitizes the KYC through our app, he or she doesn't need to go to the farm. So we help them save money, and we help them help their confidence, and also to increase the market size of insurance policies issued. So all the insurance companies, they can also access the extent of disaster, which I already demonstrated, and they can also minimize the risks of moral hazard. So for example, when there is claim, for example, me and my friend, we have a neighboring farm, but during disaster claim, when we send pictures, we using our app, we also collect the compass orientation information as well. So we know the GPS exact location where the photo was taken and on which heading it was taken. So that minimizes moral hazard as well. And our satellite and weather-based insights also minimizes moral hazards. And we basically, in doing so, we streamline and fast track insurance process, because conventional approach, how it was working was, like, whenever there is a disaster, farmer sends an SMS. After that, the insurance agent needs to visit the farm. And since most of areas are remote, it takes nearly a week. But in our case, using our app, it happens instantly within seconds. So farmers, he clicks picture, it's instantly visible in our web platform. So we minimizing and fast tracking insurance. And we also provide risk profiling support to assess the probability of disaster in any areas, enabling better decision making of insurance companies. And for banks, we also provide them. We are intending to provide them. We haven't provided them the data to banks yet. We are in contact with Agriculture Development Bank in Nepal. So we are aiming to provide them satellite weather and GPS-based API support. So what it enables for banks is to track farmer activity and track whether the farmer is active or not, the historical plantation, since we can access the satellite data of years back. So we can show to the bank, okay, this farmer has planted for this season. In doing so, he had this much of revenue. So we can also provide yield prediction models, and the banks can know about the loan amount which is feasible for that farmer, because you see in Nepal, like, its loan is also subsidized for farmer, and there has been a lot of misutilization of loans. Like, not a farm like, there's been very less farmers that got loan, but the fake farmers who just pretend and get loans and utilize it for other purpose like real estate, they can access. So we we want to enhance decision making of banks as well. And talking about our status quo until now, so during our first pilot in rice seed producer insurance in Nepal in 3 districts, we provided insurance coverage to 94 farmers. In doing so, we secured them from a sum insured amount of 47,000 US dollar. We covered 50 plus hectares of digital farms, which I showed you earlier. And we validated 20 claims. We received 20 claims. Most of them was from heavy rainfall during October month last year. And the farmers in total, they received 2,700 US dollar. And not only that, we are also extensively working on bridging the gap between farmers and extension officers. So we want to link farmers, extension officers, and insurance companies and banks. So we have already digitalized 202 hectares of rice plantation, 142 hectares of maize plantation. We have a network of 50 plus extension officers, and we have already provided 500 digital advisories, and we have a network of 1,000 farmers using our digital extension services. And here are our districts where we focused. So here, it is basically Nawal Parasi, Make, and Bardia. All of them are in lower plain, rural Terai plain, near border of India. So as I already said, this is our status for like traction of insurance. And our services offered are basically remote monitoring services. We basically digitize paperwork as well. Insurance companies, they can use our web platform to digitize all the paper-based documents. And we also send them alerts notifications whenever we identify any problematic areas. Initial successes, I'd like to give you a brief overview. Like farmers, they send us photos and videos. So in doing so, we observed that it improved the management practices. So whenever farmers were regularly visiting farms and taking pictures, they also identified problematic areas. So this was one of our insights that we observed, and by identifying the problematic areas early, they stopped the spread of that problematic areas. So that was also observed. And another thing was their digital literacy improved as well. So most of the farmers, they are illiterate, and providing them with a mobile phone where they can take pictures, get BMPs, best management practices, this will slowly have a spillover effect where they will use this technology for other valuable purposes as well. And faster settlement, as I already said, we settled compared to conventional approach. Our approach has a faster claim settlement process. All these claims, 20 claims, were settled within 45 days of a disaster claim. So here, since this is a very new concept in Nepal, first digital pilot. So what we had to do was we have to extensively teach farmers on the ground. We printed brochures, we regularly contacted them, we taught them how to click pictures as well. So this is a picture of our insured farmer who has been taking picture of his rice farm. And in cases where there is no mobile phone, by the insured farmer, in Nepal, what we observed was the smartphone penetration is quite high. At least a member of family has access to mobile phones. In this case, the daughter of insured farmer had a mobile phone, smartphone, so she assisted the farmer in taking regular picture, like you can see here. And apart from that, we gathered farmers who didn't send us picture during our first pilot to understand what was the issue. So we organized Chautari event like this. So we gathered farmers, we understood their problem, we further enhanced our app based on their feedback. So we had such kind of sessions. This is also similar. So this is how we had to actively teach them, because compared to other agritech is such a domain where it's very difficult, because in other fintech areas the users, they are already adapted to digital technologies, but in agritech domain they are not used to smartphones, so it requires a lot of teaching and awareness as well. So we basically followed cooperative framework, where we partnered with a cooperative, agriculture cooperative, which helped us gather farmers. So this made it quite easy rather than approaching each individual farmer. And we also provided them with one-day trainings regularly in government buildings, like government organizations, with support from them and with support from USAID as well. So we provided them trainings as well. This is another training on how to click pictures, how to use satellite data for extension officers as well. And another thing is, this is a picture taken at an insurance company, our partner insurance company, NLG Insurance. So we taught the insurance officers how to access the disaster report and how to validate those claims and how to also send the SMS whenever problematic areas are identified. So this was a training program, and we got a very good response from insurance company, and they are actively using our platform on a commercial basis. So we also have a pricing plan with the insurance company, which I talk about it later. So after claim, there is a process. So all these claims were fall under shortfall cases, because like none of the field were totally damaged. So that's the reason all those cases were under shortfall. And I'd like to explain about shortfall case in Nepal. Insurance, the insurance in Nepal also provides support for shortfall, which is whenever the actual production in ground falls below the government set threshold. So the compensation, the insurance supports those compensation as well. So in this case, we performed crop cutting experiment in the ground with the presence of government extension officer, as you can see the lady there. So we performed crop cutting, and we in other areas as well, we the rule was like we had to have a government entity involved throughout the process of crop cut. So after crop cut and after analyzing everything, we organized insurance claim settlement process, claim payment ceremony in all three districts, and these are all the farmers that received the check. This is also another farmer who received check. And I talked about crop insurance. At Plansat, we're also working on livestock insurance as well. So here you can see the picture looks a little bit gross, but here we are using digital technologies like AI and machine learning to solve some of the moral hazards present in Nepalese market. This idea actually came from our partner insurance company, where they had to face a lot of moral hazards in especially buffalo and cow. The premiums of buffalo and cow are quite high, and in one district, in rural district, what was observed was the agent and the farmers, they were not ethical. So what they did was they arranged other farmers in the community, and whenever one buffalo was dead, they just took the air tags out and replaced it with another air tag. So insurance company received 5 claims when just one buffalo was dead. So because of which there's a lot of risk for insurance companies as well. And we've been working on this idea like for cow and buffalo muzzle tracking since last 7 months. So here you can see, similar to our human fingerprint, the muzzle region, nose region of cow and buffaloes are unique. So you can see here, all of them are unique. And what we have done is we've gathered 48,000 of such nose images of cow and buffalo, and we've been starting training since last 7 months. And finally, we have built an AI model that can accurately track and smartly identify the muzzle of cows and associate it unique ID to particular farmers. So in doing so, our mission is to replace air tags in near future, because of this air tag, like the insurance coverage, it's very difficult to provide to remote areas. But with our platform, it's just a requirement of 15 seconds video of around the nose region. So we are slowly working on that as well, and we want to scale this idea to Bangladesh and India as well in near future, because there are a lot of rural areas in this context as well, most of the Asian countries. So what we are planning to do is replace air tags and provide them instant coverage for cow and buffalo insurance with a model that's very accurate and that can possibly replace the air tags. So here we have early results, and it's very impressive results that we've observed, and we are continuously improving this model. So right now we have trained it on 48,000, and we are actively working with our insurance partner to enroll other cows and buffaloes in Nepal as well. So our plan by the end of 2024 will have 100,000 buffalo and cow muzzle image, and we'll continuously improve the model. So this is basically the thing that we've been doing at Landsat, and I'd like to open floor for any questions. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suman, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen so that we can see your full video?
Yeah,
sure. Thank you. I'll take up the questions now. First question is, how easy is it for the farmers to adapt to new technology in agriculture?
Thank you for the question, Lakshmiji. So for farmers to adapt to new technology, it's very complex and requires a lot of behavioral change in our understanding, because like we started this company back in 2019, and we were very much motivated to provide them complete satellite support. But since it required behavioral change, there was not much implementation of our first app, Landsat Satellite Precision. So what we had to do is we had to follow one step at a time strategy. So instead of teaching them everything, like it's not a good approach to teach them everything at once. So what we are focusing right now is just teaching them how to click pictures, and also how to read the localized PMP's information and how to send pictures. So it requires basically one step at a time strategy, but it's not impossible and not that difficult. It requires continuous interaction and continuous intervention. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, yeah. Can you just tell us about the activities of your company and how old is your company?
Our company was established just a month before COVID. So it was back in September of 2019. After I completed my degrees and came back to Nepal, I opened my company. And the activities that we've been doing is we have been working actively with development projects here in Nepal from USAID, GIZ, and those kind of organizations. We are approaching them and working together with them and utilizing, leveraging those networks, because starting from scratch is very difficult. So we have to leverage upon existing networks. So these are the activities. We are open to partnership with a lot of organizations, and we've been continuously approaching them. So yeah, that's about.
And your services are limited to only Nepal, or you already are spread out in India also?
So regarding our insurance service, it's currently only available in Nepal, but our app, which I showed you earlier, Landsat Satellite Precision, it can be downloaded in 118 plus countries. So it can be easily downloaded in India as well, and you can start accessing satellite data as well. So one of our app works globally, whereas the insurance service currently is local. So we are also have made plans, the roadmap. So first, after next year, by the end of 2025, we want to scale to Bangladesh and then possibly to India as well in near future. So we are currently making plans on that.
Okay. The app, whatever you mentioned, it is a paid version for download.
It's completely free.
Free. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the features in that? What for it can be used?
Sorry, I didn't hear
The
you well.
features in the app, how it
The
will be
features.
useful to the farmers in India.
As I mentioned, about 5 features that's present there. So first feature is you can use the app crop performance monitoring feature to early identify problematic areas. So the satellite that we've been using is European Space Agency satellite, which has a revisit time globally of 3 to 5 days. So a farmer in India can access those satellite images every 3 to 5 days, and we made it so simple based on color difference, so he doesn't need to understand much. So he just need to understand like red color represents poor crop performance and green color represents good crop performance, and we have GPS based guidance, so it works offline as well. So a farmer can simply check satellite data from his home and identify any red areas and use our app offline to reach to that area using, like you can see, say similar like Google Maps. So after reaching that area, he or she can send picture to us and receive digital advisories as well. So that's our app, previous app from which we pivoted, but we still provide support for satellite. Right now, we have stopped service for digital extension in that Landsat satellite precision app. But all those data like satellite crop performance monitoring, water use efficiency, and nitrogen use efficiency, it's there. And also weather prediction model, like we provide plus 7 days weather prediction model through that app.
Okay. Based on your experience, what are the main challenges in digital agriculture insurance?
Mm. Challenges, challenges in insurance, right? So
Yeah.
first challenge is lack of awareness. So farmers are not aware, or they are hesitant to, or they are not aware of the challenges that lie ahead. For example, climate change vulnerabilities will soon degrade the productivity. So those kind of awareness needs to be there, and also the willingness to pay, because since it's just 80% subsidized, remaining 20% they have to pay. And so that's also another challenge for very smallholder farmer who lacks money. But what we've observed is when farmer they pay for any service, for instance insurance, they have a sense of ownership, so they are very active in that way as well. So based on our experience, it's better for a farmer to pay because they'll have authority over us, and whenever they have authority, it's good for us and good for them as well. We get honest opinion also. So challenge is willingness to pay and also awareness, I think. And also the usually what I saw in agri-tech domain is like all of us, we want to provide all the services at the same time. We just overburden farmers with a lot of features. So that's what we observe. So features needs to follow one step at a time strategy. So that's my basic suggestions or challenges that we faced.
Okay. And how difficult is it for people to convince farmers to take up these insurance and enroll to your app?
Mm. Uh, Based on our experience, it was not so difficult to enroll them in our app, because one thing was its insurance is heavily subsidized in Nepal. So if you suppose like a farmer wants to secure against $1,000 worth of some insured amount, the premium cost is 5%. So if you say he has, the premium cost would come around $50, 5% of $1,000. So $50 out of $50, $40 or 80% is paid by government. So farmer just needs to pay $10. So $10 is not big money for farmers who had comparatively larger holding. But uh, the other good news for our implementation was there's 2 provinces in Nepal. That's Lumini province and Sudur Pasim province, where 80% of the premium cost is covered by federal government, whereas 20% of the premium cost was covered by local government. So for our first pilot, the insurance was basically free. for those two provinces, but we've seen willingness from other farmers in other provinces as well who are willing to pay 20% of the premium cost rate. So there's willingness to.
Okay, and what is the difference between crop insurance and agricultural insurance?
So crop insurance and agriculture insurance, if you see like under agriculture insurance, it falls there's crop insurance and livestock insurance. But under crop insurance, it's for plants. Agriculture insurance also covers for livestock also.
Okay, you were telling about your background. Can you let us know what made you take an interest in this particular field?
Uh, yeah, so for me, I was always passionate about creating impact in the society. So after completing my undergraduate, I went for Erasmus Mundus exchange in Greece for my postgraduate research. And during that time, I was very keen on volunteering. It was in 2015. It was also a time when there was a Syrian refugee crisis in Greece. So there was war in Syria, and a lot of Syrians fled to Greece. I was there during that time volunteering there, and I realized my field during those time in Greece was based on forestry, but I really wanted to change my field to have direct impact on people. So what I thought was climate change is also will have very bad impact. On top of that, there is war. So at that time, I decided, okay, I need to focus on something very impactful that's very connected to livelihood of people, and that was agriculture. So from that moment on, from late 2015, I focused on agriculture totally. So, and
Okay.
I'm here now.
That's very nice to hear. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Mr. Suman for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you so much, Dhanalakshmi ji,
You're
for this
most welcome.
opportunity
You're
to
most
spread
welcome.
our knowledge. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.